As it is by his divine grace, see the Swami Prabhupada, founder of Society for Krishna Consciousness, Chapter 10, Text 9. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another, conversing about me. Let's read the purport. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying qualities, pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing Him with other devotees. The preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself, and in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in His abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of Earth, and out of them there are who are fortunate enough to meet a God devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed. It is sown in the heart of the living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies just as the seed of the tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of material universe and enters into the effulgence spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrinda, the supreme planet, Krishna. Ultimately, the planet takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and becomes fully absorbed in love of God, then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. The book Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to devotees, as stated in the book itself, 12.13 to 18. Srimad Bhagavatam Pranam Amalam Yat Vaishnavanam. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. As the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. Text 10. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Let's read the book. In this verse, the word Buddhi Yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord, instructing Arjun, said that he had spoken to him of many things and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained. Buddhi Yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence. Yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully Krishna consciousness, devotional service, this action is called Buddhi Yoga. In other words, Buddhi Yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, and the ultimate goal is achieved. Traverse means it opens itself and shows you how to go about. So it's called traversed. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculations to understand Krishna, he is acting in Jnana Yoga. And when he knows the goal seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. So Krishna helps out. The qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness with love and devotion, render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to. Let's move to text 11. So, what they are trying to say that if you are in Jnana Yoga, and then you will find somebody who is in Bhakti Yoga, a pure devotee. When you find that someone, slowly the path will open up to reach the ultimate goal, which is Krishna. And if it is difficult to even walk even one step, Krishna himself gives way to move ahead. In fact, Krishna gives way to move ahead in Karma Yoga also, in Jnana Yoga also, and in Bhakti, in all the. Let's see text 11. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Let's read the Bhagavad. When Lord Chaitanya was in Banaras for promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thousands of people were following him. Prakasha, Prakashananda Saraswati, a very influential and learned scholar in Banaras at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and a philosophically naive sentimentalist. Actually, that is not the fact. They are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literature or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So, a sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. So, they think that person who is in Bhakti Yoga, they are not using any knowledge, they're just doing Bhakti. So, they deride such people because they feel knowledge is the ultimate yoga to achieve Krishna. Because unless you have knowledge, how will you achieve? And here in Bhagavad Gita, they say that Krishna is explaining that it is not that they are doing bhakti yoga without knowledge. Doing bhakti yoga despite having the complete knowledge. It takes courage to do it because you know a lot of things. Still, you have to choose a path which you are not knowing, right? Which is only about devotion, and you don't know what it is going to lead you to, right? Because in Jnana Yoga, you will know where you will lead, right? Jnana Yoga is once you get knowledge, you start acting. Once you start acting, you get knowledge, and then further you start acting. So you are again in that cycle. But Bhakti Yoga will bring you out of this cycle, right? And it will lead you to the correct goal because here we don't need karma, don't need knowledge, jnana. We only need devotion. Keep doing things as instructed by the God without having to know the results. Just keep doing. Yes. So, when we are in text 11, let's read the purport. When Lord Chaitanya was, yes, we read this, right?